I mean, we all like to say in every household it's a partnership, blah, blah, whatever, but there's always
Right.
one person that kinda does rule the roost,
Yeah.
and I think she probably rules the roost, but
Right.
not with a crop all the time.
This was my question. Like, how much of this is
Yeah,
just a natural state of the
right,
household, and how much of it is like a part of that interplay that they have?
right?
And is her husband allowed to dominate? I guess he must be, right?
Mhm, I feel
If they're
like
both
it's like
furries?
is there an org chart,
There
right? Where
must
it's like
be,
first
right.
it's gotta be because she's like first, second, Fox is definitely 3rd.
Right, and I probably bet that chart's probably on the wall right next to their, rules of
Calendar.
ha yeah, but then also next to that is the rules of dealing with the customer, and rule
Yes,
number 1 is the customer is always right, and rule number 2 is if the
exactly.
customer is wrong, see rule number 1,
Yes,
right next to
that's
the kitten
exactly.
saying, "Hang in there." Like, those
They get
are
a hang
all yeah.
every kitchen should have a hang in their kitten. Everyone. I don't understand why okay, that by the way, why
Yes,
hasn't that made, the biggest comeback ever right now?
that is true.
Why is
That
the
is so
hang in
true.
their kitten
Yeah.
not literally everywhere?
Yeah, that is very, very true.
I mean, first of all, it's still my favorite poster of all time,
Right,
but secondly, it should be having a moment.
right.
If Adidas tracksuits can be back in fashion, then the hang in there kitten during the pandemic should be on T-shirts and posters everywhere.
Yeah. Hang in there, kitten is the new keep calm and carry on.
It
It
is
should
the
be.
new yes!
Yeah.
100%.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
I feel like, all this time you're always looking for, there's everyone says like, "Oh, call your friends, check in." My wife is on these group Zoom phone calls constantly with friends, and
Yes.
she's been saying like, "I talk to these people more now than I have in years when I could
Right.
go drive there to see them." I somehow, and I'm assuming this is a group of all women. I'm not
Okay.
positive.
Mhm.
I am on a group text with 4 women from the Fort Worth area.
Okay.
I do not know how I got added to this. I don't know any of the numbers.
Wait, are you serious?
I am dead serious. It's right here. And I was going to read you some of the
See, I
text.
can't see it either. It's just
Right.
like
Yeah.
when I do it to you.
I know. Right. It's going to, there we
Oh,
go.
there they are.
Yeah.
Went to church. Why the
So
what? Oh, dear.
my
Yes.
first thought was like, I should delete this and just be like,
No.
hey, I'm on here by mistake. And then the rest of me was like, but that's still, this is kind of nice. So the
Yes.
first one was Happy Easter.
Okay.
Hope your day was special for you, however you celebrated it. Like, what
Oh,
a nice, opening, welcoming, warm.
yes.
Keep your heads down and stay safe.
Okay.
Lovely.
That
Thank you,
works.
whoever you are.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
nothing. I'm not
Wait,
presupposing you
did
should
you
do anything.
respond to that one?
I did not, because I didn't want to do
Okay.
anything to rock the boat.
Okay. Okay.
Much the same way I am on a mailing list for Catherine's plus size women clothing. I'm on
Yes.
their daily mailing list, and I know anytime there's a sale, part of me feels like I shouldn't take myself off that list.
Really?
I've tried a couple times.
Are you gonna be a drag queen at some point?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because
But
Catherine's doesn't really sell drag queen attire, I
I've
don't
never
think.
heard of them until I got on their mailing list. I've tried to take myself off a couple times, and
Well,
whoever signed me up is like, "That happened. Resubscribe."
yeah.
So somebody else responded. It was definitely different this year. Went to church in our PJs and watched from the kitchen table as we ate breakfast. Like, there's
Oh,
something so nice, and
yeah.
no kiddos this year for the morning traditions. Aw.
Mm.
But Hannah came home tonight and got her Easter basket. All in all, it was a nice, lazy, relaxing day. Now we are about to watch Jumanji 2. Happy
Of
Easter,
course,
y'all. Come
as one
on.
does.
Right.
That's
Like,
that's
it's
great.
perfect.
I
Um,
mean, The
and then,
Rock,
right.
Jesus,
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
So then we get to Monday morning, 11 a.m.
Mhm,
our time. So that'd be 10 a.m., 10:07, I believe, Fort Worth
mhm.
time. Uh, the first person responds, Happy weekend. Waits a few minutes. It's Saturday again. Or is it Thursday? I can't tell anymore.
Oh dear.
Right? Haven't we all felt that this whole time?
Yeah.
And then the person who had Hannah come home for her Easter basket and watch church in her PJs wrote back, "For us still working, it's Monday."
This is very sad. This is taking a turn.
No,
I
but
want I
then
want The Rock and Kevin Hart back.
then this is the last text I've gotten so far.
Okay.
And so for us working, it's still Monday. And then in like 50 minutes later, the original texter writes back, "If you've seen the insurance commercial where the couple are talking about their apartment and their THERE only complaint is the upstairs neighbors clogging, thinking about the scene where they are clogging side to side, period. Then think about the Affleck duck clogging, period. Either you'll think it's funny or we have too much time on our hands and watch too much TV." I feel like that is essentially the microcosm of the entire country, if not the whole world, the past
You know,
month, right there.
you,
Like 4 texts
well,
from a bunch of women in Fort Worth.
you know how to respond.
Unsubscribed listserv? No. Wait,
Oh,
what do I write back?
you send them the poster of the Hang in There Kitty. It's the perfect
You are right. You
swan
are right.
song. Goodbye
You are
to bring
right.
it full circle.
But maybe let's talk about the club and sort of go from there. And
Sure.
So, how long have you guys been around?
I own 2 strip clubs.
Mhm.
The first one is called Devil's Point, and that one started in 2000. And then in 2008, we started the Lucky Devil Lounge, which is the home of Lucky Devil Eats now. So at Lucky Devil, we've been there for about 12 years.
Mhm. And
How'd you? Sorry.
no, please go ahead.
Why'd you decide to go into this business, the original business of the clubs, of the strip clubs?
Well, originally my first trade is a graphic designer, so I started out just being a graphic designer and kind of a computer geek, and just doing advertisements and my friends' band covers, and that led into like doing business cards and stuff like that, and then that led to I started designing ads for all the strip clubs in Portland, and from there, an opportunity came up to buy part of one of these strip clubs. And I had never even worked in a bar before my whole entire life. And I was really excited. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And walked in there and turned this business around, which was called Devil's Point. And then ended up with the revenue that we generated from that, we ended up opening up Lucky Devil Lounge 4 years later, and then that was 12 years ago. And so, yeah, things have been just kind of rolling. But yeah, my original background is graphic design and advertising and branding and stuff like that. So I've always kind of done that. I've always had a passion for doing graphic design and stuff like that. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, my
Interesting.
background's advertising too, and I actually always wanted to own a strip club.
You know,
Truly.
having a
Tracks.
having a graphic design background and an advertising background and branding and stuff like that is like one of the best tools you can have in your tool belt for owning a bar, a nightclub, a restaurant, because at any point I do all the graphic design for the businesses still. So I design the menus,
Perfect.
I run the social media accounts. If I need to design something right on the fly, I can do it. I don't have to like spend the time to like reach out to a graphic designer, explain what I need, go back and forth. I'm like, I need this done now, and I do it. And it's kind of, it's just a really good tool when you're in this industry as well, to have that in your back pocket to be able to do. And I know a couple other club owners that also have graphic design backgrounds as well.
So for the kids listening, if they're looking to get into this line of work, graphic arts,
Yeah.
street, well, and to this point, we're talking about small businesses and what you've been doing and how you've been able to really get one up and running, move on to the next one. The interesting part of your story comes when all of this pandemic hits and
Yeah.
your approach to it. So how did you come up with the idea for what you have termed Boober?
So originally, this started as kind of like an after work joke. You know, sometimes when you're done with work, you have a cocktail with a coworker, and you just I I I I still bartend at the bar. I bartend there once a week, and I have a cocktail waitress that's like a really good friend of mine for 10 years plus. And after work, sometimes after work we just sit there and just crack jokes because she's hilarious, and we just play off of each other. So one night we were sitting there and we're just having a drink and just talking, and we were coming up with all kinds of different names that rhymed with like Uber, and were like delivery services. So we came up with like Doober, where you deliver weed to somebody that needs
Yes.
weed, or
Could also be successful during this time.
yeah, yeah, or Luber if you're out of lube and you need it
Nice.
you call up Luber, hey, I need some lube.
Essential item, yes.
Yeah, and my one, I was like, well, what about Boober, where like a topless girl picks you up and drives you to the strip club, and
Love it.
and we kind of laughed about it, and I put it on my Facebook back in December, and all my friends chimed in and made up all these other little ones. Someone said a Gruber, which was somebody picks you up in a 80s stretch limo and takes you to the Nakatomi Plaza, kind of like
Yes.
playing off a Die Hard
Yes.
Hans
Yes.
Zimmer.
We're with you. Yes.
I thought they would throw you off the top, but just the limo,
Well-
perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they could also throw you off the top of the
Yeah.
building. I put that on our Facebook in February, or I'm sorry, in December, and then my friends chimed in on it, and then here comes March, and our governor Kate Brown shuts down. Well, first it was the NBA shut down, which was a big one. After that big stadium, all the stadium shows started getting canceled, and then they started with a 250 person capacity limit, which basically knocked out all of the live music industry in Portland. I mean, that's like our bread and butter audience right there. People
Sure.
go to shows, they watch the show, and then when they're done, they're like, hey, let's go to the strip club. And we always get a rush from all these after shows. So once that industry shut down, that was even a big shock. It was like, oh my God, like this is like a major part of our industry is are people going out to these events and then coming. We're always the after party. We're always, we're
Right.
always where everybody wants to come to afterwards and have a cocktail and relax. And then the next clamp down, it was a 50-person capacity, and that was like, oh, how are we going to do? What do we? It's just every other day it was just this new regulation, this new thing, and it was just extremely stressful. And then it was Monday, March 16th. Governor Kate Brown announced that she was going to be closing restaurants and bars for public use, and that was it. That was Dunzo. So basically, at 7 o'clock at night, we just told all of our customers, "Hey, we have to close." And a lot of them were like, didn't know what was going on. They were like
Crazy.
thinking that they were getting cut off, or like, did I do something wrong? And I'm like, and it's so weird because it's basically the opposite thing that you want to do in your business is tell people to leave.
Right. Yeah.
So that night, I put both of the bars into hibernation mode, which was getting rid of all the perishables, taking all the booze off the shelf, emptying all the ATMs, taking all the money and redepositing it into our bank accounts, and just kind of putting these bars into like we don't know when we're going to open again mode. So that night, I had a little powwow with some of my staff, and some of my kitchen guys were like, "Man, like if you have any paint work or side work or whatever, just let me know." And because so many people that work in the service industry that have a base minimum wage, and then they work on for tips after that.
Right.
It's a struggle to pay your rent every month. It's a struggle to
Sure.
pay your bills. A lot of people work for paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and when you're working paycheck to paycheck and there's no more paychecks coming in, it creates a huge amount of anxiety. And I got that feedback from my staff, like, hey, whatever we can do. And so my wheels started turning, and I'm like, well, maybe we could just keep the kitchen open for food deliveries, and we'll just sign up for like Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever it is. And because we had never done that, we're pretty fortunate that we inherited like a really nice kitchen at this club, and we have great kitchen staff, and our menu is really awesome. And Oregon also requires all places that have a full premise alcohol license to serve 5 different distinctive food menu options. So you have to have uh, a decent kitchen to run
Yeah.
any bar or
Yeah,
restaurant in
good.
Oregon. I know there's a lot of other places in the country that you just have to serve like potato chips or something, but Oregon's pretty
Right.
strict about that. So, and the restaurant and food industry in Portland and in Oregon is already like spectacular. There's already this high bar for people going out and eating food and stuff. So, in order to compete in that market, you really have to have a really solid menu. Later that night, I came home and I jumped on our Twitter page and I said, "Hey, we're working on keeping our employees employed and our kitchen open." And then I threw in a little joke that said, "And we're gonna uh, send dancers to your house topless and call it Boober." And I hit tweet and I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning, which was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, and looked at
Serendipity.
yeah, looked at my phone, and then all of a sudden, it's just like people. I mean, it's been retweeted, it's been liked. It's people are asking questions about how much does it cost, where do you deliver to, what do the girls do, what's your food menu, how do I and I'm just like, I'm looking at this, and then like a little light bulb goes off in my head. I'm like, holy shit! Like, I think we could actually fucking do this. And so I started texting some group text stuff. I started texting my kitchen manager and some of the security guys and some of the dancers, like, hey, does anybody want to come to Lucky Devil and try to deliver food to people's doorsteps? And about 15, 20 people responded like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. So we went down to the bar and we started trying to figure out like exactly how do we do this. And initially we were like, well, why don't the girls just go up to the doorstep, drop off the food, and flash their boobs? And we were like, okay, that's a possibility, but maybe we need to be a little more PC. So then we decided we were like, well, why don't the girls just be scantily clad? So we were like, why don't they just wear pasties over their nipples, like some Hooter style booty shorts and some like sneakers, and that'll be like the standard outfit because sometimes when these girls are working this job, they're wearing 6-inch platform heels and
Sure.
lingerie and garter belts,
Mhm.
and it was funny in my mind. I was just imagining like this opening your door and watching like a dancer with a bag of food try to like climb up your stairs in like 6-inch heels like Godzilla or something, like, I have your food. And I thought that would be kind of a funny visual, but it just wouldn't work. So we went a little more sporty with the outfits.
Mhm.
And then we were like, well, do we send them to the I mean, how does this work? We can't just like be like, "Hey, here's a bag of food," and send you to some random dude's house where it's like totally not safe.
Right.
So then I was like, "Well, let's do this. Let's take one of the dancers. We'll pair them up with their best bud that they work with already,
Mhm.
and then we'll pair them with one of our security guys that already works in the club, already knows the dancers. These guys are already vetted. Like I said, I have lot of long-term employees, so a lot of these security guys have worked for us for 5, 10 years as well. So that was our game plan. It was two ladies delivering food to your doorstep in pasties, and a security guard driving and kind of monitoring the situation, and and just kind of hanging back, but and we haven't had one issue yet. Knocking on wood.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
always been there have been a couple weird instances. A lot of it's funny, the ladies will go out on these deliveries and they'll come back, and I'm sitting at the bar and I'm just kind of working on my computer, and I'm like, hey, how was that? And sometimes they're like, oh, it was awesome. We got there. They made this little strip club up in their garage, and we delivered the food, and they were throwing money at us, and then I'm like, wow, that's fucking awesome. And then another time the ladies come back and I'm like, hey, how was the run? And they go, oh god, that was weird. So this one run these two ladies went on. They knock on the door. The person opens the door, and the lady is standing there completely naked, and and then and then all of a sudden she gets on the ground and then does this like spread eagle thing with her legs, and then her husband comes out and is like videotaping the whole thing, and the girls are just standing there like looking at each other like
What the hell are we supposed to do? Yeah.
what do
Right,
we
like
do? And so they just like set the bags on the ground, and they're like, thank you for for choosing us. And
awesome.
that's about the weirdest thing. The other
Wow.
ones, as the service kind of progresses, and as the night progresses, around 10 or 11 is when people start getting a little weird.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
I think this one delivery we went on, the security guy was like, I have never met somebody more stoned in my life. Just,
Oh.
I mean,
Well,
could you imagine being at home just like super stoned, and then just being like, whoa, I could get a burger with two babes at my door, and
Like,
then they come, and then
presto.
it
Yeah.
because a lot of people thought it was a joke as well, the service. And when you open your door, and instead of some like Postmates guys in blue jeans and a hoodie on, oh, here's
Right.
your food. It's two scantily clad dancers with sparklers, jumping up and down, being like, "Here's your food." So so
Every
it's
day's a party in quarantine. I
Yeah.
love it.
yeah, yeah, and it's been a crazy ride. I think we're going. This is week 4, I believe. I think we're coming up to just about a month, because our first day of service was March 17th.
Do you guys do requests? Because I would ask for like a Lloyd Dobler, where one of the girls would just put a boombox over her head, and the other one sadly drops the food off.
We do,
You
and
do? Okay.
the cool thing about the ladies that work for us, they're a lot of them have burlesque backgrounds.
Nice.
Okay.
Very cool.
So in the burlesque world, it's costuming,
Yep.
it's performing, it's makeup and hair, it's the whole show.
Awesome.
So a lot of the ladies that work for us have these performance backgrounds. So you're getting these performances at your doorstep.
How much to do a scene from Phantom?
Oh, geez.
Okay, never mind.
Maybe.
So when this all dies down, have you had any thoughts about still keeping this up as part of your repertoire, or do you think you'll table it and just go back
No
to
pun
just
intended.
the club? I
Yeah.
know.
The thing about this business is it works perfect for the environment that we're in right now.
Right.
You're doing food delivery service. You're driving around town. Guess what? There's no traffic anymore.
Right.
My mom and I were driving around, and my mom was like, "This is like 1974 Portland. Like,
Mhm.
you could get from one place to another in 15 minutes, when in normal times it takes 45." So,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, there's no traffic in front of my house. It's great for the planet because nobody's burning
Right.
gasoline.
Right.
So true.
People are stuck at home, and everybody's ordering food from home. So there's the demand for food delivery service.
Mhm.
Um, all the strip clubs are closed, and anybody that would like to go to a strip club can't. You can't do it. So then you get the strip club delivered to your house. It's like, okay, that works perfect.
Right.
Um, um, it's just all these elements just work out perfect because
Yeah.
all of the entertainers, they're out of work right now, so they don't mind taking a pay cut right now, and all of us are taking a pay cut
Right.
doing this service. Like I told somebody, I could have just shut down the bars and just put them into hibernation mode and sat in my house and played PlayStation 4 for 2 months and
Right.
been totally okay with it because I've been able to kind of invest and save my money a little bit. But like I said, with a lot of people that at work, from paycheck to paycheck, they live paycheck to
Right.
paycheck. They don't have that luxury,
No.
and how. I mean, we're like I said, we're going into a month of this, and not even one check has been issued into anybody's pockets yet. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. So providing this service for our employees to work, even if it's at minimum wage or just a little bit above, is beneficial to them, just to put a little bit of money in their pocket to buy food, to buy gas, pay your cell phone bills,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff.
I also feel like from the evil marketing side, this is a perfect opportunity. Now, with the exception of the spread eagle lady, but with
Yeah.
a lot of couples, one person may be into the strip club, one may think it's the most horrific place ever. I would never step foot in there. Not me, but this person.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a nice little 101 kind of, let's just kind of dip our toe in the water. So when the strip club opens back up, you might have people that might bring their significant other. You might have new customers that maybe have never braved it before. So it's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
adding to that too. I feel like you're going to be even more busy.
I'm curious how this is going to. I'm curious how this is all going to pan out once we open back up because
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of. I mean, we have so many people that are like, "Oh, I got to come to Portland. I got to come check this
Right?
out."
Yes.
And in every city, the industry is different as far as the adult industry. It's every single city, it's different, and Portland is unique in regards to how strip clubs run here, but it's just like every city has different rules. They have different ways of doing business, and Portland in general is more of like a boutique strip club industry that is dictated more by the burlesque. It's and performers and stage work and pole dancing and stuff like that. So in other markets, it's giant clubs that are 10,000 square feet with 200 dancers, and it's just they run a different show.
Right.
The show here is more of it's really small venues, really small staffs, and everybody knows everybody, and everybody is from the neighborhood, and it's more intimate. It's not such a big it's not a big corporate churning thing. It's a
That's
small
awesome.
intimate scene. So
Yeah.
that's why when people come to Portland, they're like, "Oh, we want to go to the strip clubs," because it's a different feel. And I've been to strip clubs all over the country too, and it's definitely I just growing up in this is I'm like, "Oh, isn't this how everything works?" And then you go
Right.
to other cities and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, that's so crazy." I remember going to Jumbo's Clown Room in LA about 10 years ago, and we sat there, and the girl comes out and she dances, and we're tipping, and then she gets off stage, and I was like, did she take her any clothes off at all? And my friend's like, no. And I'm like, did we do something wrong? Like, and then the next girl comes out and she doesn't get naked or doesn't even like take her shirt off or anything, and we're tipping and we're being nice, and we're like, what the heck's going on? And then someone's like, oh, you can't have nudity and full alcohol in the state of California. And
Mhm.
I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's crazy.
This is California, like
Right?
Yeah.
the capital of the adult industry and pornography, and uh,
This
and you can't take your shirt off and drink alcohol at the same time. It's like
see,
it blows my mind.
that
So
really
Yeah.
ruins the song "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Yeah.
it does, yeah, yeah.
It's not at all.
So we got a pretty unique thing going on here, and I'm a third generation Oregonian as well too. So I've been here for quite a while, and my dad and his dad, we all been to the strip clubs. So,
For more information, you can check out the Lucky Devil Lounge online, where they are at luckydevillounge.com. Or if you live in the Portland area, place an order with them. Their number is 503-206-7350.
Be sure to follow Why the Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel for some additional great Why content. If you're so inclined, please leave us a review and let us know how we're doing.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our graphic designer is Samantha Mustonen. Our intern is Randy Jeanette. The theme song was performed by the Electrosyntho-Magnetic Polyphonic Orchestra. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?